Hello and welcome to Success Formulas.
16 psychological facts that will blow your mind. Have you ever wondered why we behave the way we do? By understanding some psychological facts that lie beneath our behavior, we can unlock the hidden mechanisms that shape us. If you are wondering what those facts could be, check out our selection of 16 psychological facts that will blow your mind. Number 1. People tend to blame others more than the situation. When being faced with an undesirable situation, people often have a tendency to attribute blame to someone rather than the circumstances surrounding them. For example, if you arrive late for a meeting or appointment, you are more likely to blame the taxi driver rather than the construction that caused traffic on your way. Understanding this cognitive tendency is important because it reminds us to consider this factor when we encounter similar situations. Number 2. The more observers there are watching an accident, the less likely someone will come to help. If an accident occurs, the greater the number of witnesses present, the less likely it is that someone will step forward to provide help. This phenomenon is known as the bystander effect. Such thinking is well known in social psychology as the diffusion of responsibility. The more bystanders there are, the fewer people will be willing to help because everyone assumes that someone else will intervene. This effect is quite well known in science. Therefore, when you notice someone in need of assistance, don't wait for someone else to react. Number 3. Our minds wander at least 30% of the time. Mind wandering occurs when our thoughts stray from the present, delving into unrelated mental content. Studies reveal that this daydreaming state consumes a significant portion of our waking hours. Surprisingly, mind wandering has a purpose. It allows our brains to process information, foster creativity, and solve problems. Of course, excessive wandering can hamper focus and productivity. Practicing mindfulness, creating a supporting environment, and setting clear goals to help manage this effect. Number 4. We tend to prefer goals that we know we can achieve. This phenomenon is also known as the sour grapes effect. The term sour grapes originates from one of Aesop's fables, in which a fox, unable to reach a cluster of grapes, dismissively concludes that they are sour and not worth desiring. So, the sour grapes effect describes the tendency that when something is difficult for us to attain, we desire it less. On the other hand, we are more attracted to goals that we believe we can achieve. This effect is quite common, although people are often unaware of it. Number 5. We find it easier to remember beginnings and endings compared to the middle parts. Has it ever happened to you that you made a shopping list and then realized at the store that you forgot the list? Which parts of the list will you remember? When attempting to recall the items without the list, you might find it easier to visualize those items that were at the beginning and end of the list. On the other hand, the items in the middle tend to be a bit hazy in your memory. A study conducted in the frontiers of human neuroscience has validated this observation. This phenomenon is known as the serial position effect. It also explains why you might recall the concluding part of the lecture you have attended, while the middle part remains less distinct in your memory. Number 6. People are more inclined to remember unfinished tasks and events. Phenomena where people are more inclined to remember unfinished events or activities on which they have stopped halfway is called the Zeigarnik effect. When an activity is left incomplete, it creates a sense of tension in individuals, causing those activities to be better retained in their memory. For example, students who frequently interrupt their studying with unrelated activities, such as playing games, have better recall. This trick is often employed by TV series, which frequently pause at the most intriguing scenes. Number 7. There is a reason why we feel the need to squeeze cute things. Do you find it irresistible to squeeze cute things tightly and cuddle them endlessly? This natural reaction has a name: cute aggression. According to an article published in the Frontiers of Behavioral Neuroscience, when we experience intense positive emotions triggered by something incredibly adorable, such as a puppy or a baby, a small amount of aggression counteracts those overwhelming feelings. This serves as a protective mechanism, ensuring that we don't unintentionally harm these innocent little beings. Number 8. Prejudices and expectations towards a person often end up being fulfilled in the end. This psychological effect is called the Pygmalion effect. It is also known as the self-fulfilling prophecy or the effect of autosuggestion. Prejudices and expectations towards a person can ultimately become a reality. For example, a teacher's prejudices often influence the success of students. The more children are praised as successful and intelligent, the more likely they become so. Of course, the opposite can also occur. Experiments conducted among American elementary school students, for instance, have demonstrated that if children of average intelligence are praised as above average, they eventually begin to exhibit above average results. Number 9. When someone we care about ignores us, our brain's response resembles that of physical pain. This effect is known as social pain or social rejection. When we experience being ignored by someone we care about, it can trigger similar neural responses in the brain as physical pain. Research using functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, has shown that the brain regions involved in processing physical pain are also activated during experiences of social rejection. This means that social and physical pain share common neural pathways. This can be explained by our evolutionary history. Humans are social beings, and being a part of a social group was advantageous for our ancestors as it provided protection, resources, and cooperation. Therefore, social rejection or exclusion could signal a threat to our social bonds and trigger a stress response in the brain. The subjective experience of social pain can vary from person to person, and not everyone may react in the same way. Number 10. The attraction between two people grows if their families oppose their relationship. The attraction between two people intensifies if there is opposition from their families or a desire to separate them. This means that if parents openly object to someone's relationship, the two young people become even more deeply in love with each other. Young individuals, especially teenagers, have a need for independence and freedom, and therefore they reject having rules imposed on them. Do you have any idea what this effect could be called? Think about it. Of course, it is the Romeo and Juliet effect. Number 11. We always aim to return a favor. If someone does us a favor and we immediately feel the urge to return it, we are talking about the rule of reciprocity. This rule goes beyond mere politeness. It suggests that we have an innate inclination to assist those who have helped us. This tendency likely evolved to maintain social harmony, as mutual assistance is essential for the smooth functioning of society. Businesses, and even certain acquaintances, often leverage this principle by offering favors with the expectation that you will reciprocate by making a purchase or returning the favor. Number 12. We are more inclined to distort the facts rather than altering our beliefs about other people. People have a natural aversion to cognitive dissonance, which occurs when a fact contradicts our existing beliefs. This is why, when we hear that a loved one has done something wrong or made a mistake, we tend to downplay the severity of their actions. Similarly, when we are faced with scientific evidence that emphasizes the importance of physical activity, we may find ourselves dismissing it by convincing ourselves that the study is an exaggeration. Number 13. In the first 3 seconds after waking up, we don't remember anything. Sleep inertia, or sleep drunkenness, refers to the groggy state that we experience immediately upon waking up. During this time, the brain undergoes a complex transition from sleep to wakefulness. Sleep inertia occurs because the brain is not fully alert or capable of forming new memories effectively during this transitional period. This temporary disorientation can result in a lack of recall memories in the first few seconds after waking up. Remember, sleep inertia is normal, so be patient with yourself as you gradually shake off that morning fog. Number 14. We loosen our morals when told to by authority. One of the most well-known psychological facts dates back to the 1960s, when Stanley Milgram, a psychologist from Yale University, conducted a now infamous experiment. His intention was to demonstrate that Americans, unlike the Nazis, would not obey immoral orders. In this experiment, volunteers were instructed to administer electric shocks to a learner, an actor unbeknownst to the actual participants, whenever they answered a question incorrectly. To Milgram's dismay, the participants continued to deliver shocks, even when the learner expressed intense pain through screams. Number 15. Yawning together can help us bond. If you are witnessing someone else yawning, you will yawn too, involuntarily. This phenomenon is called a response yawn or contagious yawning. This reflexive reaction is triggered by watching someone else yawning, rather than being influenced by one's own fatigue or sleepiness. Several theories explain the contagious nature of yawning, with one prominent explanation which suggests that response yawns reflect empathy. This shared experience can create a sense of emotional closeness and understanding between people. Number 16. We are not as skilled at multitasking as we believe we are. According to a study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, when you believe you're multitasking, you're actually rapidly switching between two tasks, focusing on one at a time. This helps explain why it can be challenging to truly listen to your partner while scrolling through Instagram. This phenomenon, known as task switching, highlights the limited capacity of our attention and the potential distractions posed by modern technology. Have you noticed any of the mentioned effects on yourself? Let us know in the comment section. We love reading your comments. Before you leave, our team will be very happy if you can give this video a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. Thank you for watching, and see you in our next video.